claim is that there's no form of sexual promiscuity that's empowering.
No form of sexual promiscuity is empowering from the dominatrix. Here we go. Maybe this will be actually interesting.
And my argument is that personally, I think empowerment is subjective from person to person. We all have different things that like we consider to be empowering. And I feel like the real thing is like it's a person's choice, any person, woman or man, to determine like what is empowering to you and like whether that be.
Certainly the theme of this whole show has been choice. It's 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 choice. Of course it's fucking choice. Of course it is. But what's better than another, right? Everyone has choice, but what is more better for you, for society, for the flourishing of society, for the flourishing of yourself, for your happiness, for your fulfillment? What is better? Not always that you have choice. Choice is great. Everyone has choice. But what is better for you is the question we should be asking.
The right to choose, like, what sexual preferences you have, whether you are very sexual or not. And I don't think it should be, determined by that.
I don't really see how that refutes my claim, I guess. I don't understand how sexual promiscuity is empowering. That's kind of my point.
Well, I feel like it's subjective from person to person. So like, I think it gives women, like we're talking about women specifically, I feel like it gives women the right to explore that, to see like, I feel like being promiscuous. And
yeah, well, it's led to girls when they turn 18 getting an OnlyFans. And that's not good for society. It's not good to teach young girls that their only value is if they show off their body. The only way they can be rich and famous and travel the world is if they show the entire world their body. Why is that empowering? Empowering for fucking who? When we should be giving them, we should be teaching them that their value is way beyond that. Their value is mother, children, a career, using their God-given abilities, not just like their body to like make some fucking money, but everything is like Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue and Sophie Rain are like celebrated on the internet as some sort of fucking heroes because they make so much fucking money, but they're doing something that's not actually conducive to their flourishing or society's flourishing, because you get more and more and more fringe. And then again, you have right when you turn 18, I'm going to join OnlyFans. And then you have OnlyFans models saying that this is like hard work. It's like, no, it's fucking not. It might be hard on you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, because you're doing something that you're not really inclined to do. You're kind of forcing yourself to do it because you think this is the only thing you can do and the only value you have, which is extremely sad and heartbreaking. But it's not empowering. It certainly is not empowering.
And exploring that lets you know too of like what you're into. I think sexualization too is very subjective also, and you don't really know what you're into unless you try something.
So this woman's like, everything's subjective and empowering and everything is just like up in the air, and it's like there's no stance, and like you should just try everything because you never know what you like.
General too, when it comes to even like sex work, I don't think there's anything wrong with women fully taking on sex work and that makes them any less empowered.
Yeah, I think it's significantly devalued women. It's actually sexualized them more. And it seems like feminists complain all the time that men sexualize them, but they're the ones supplying it. They're literally here. It's like giving cupcakes to a toddler. You're just giving it out for free. So I don't see how any form of that would be empowering. And I think that that's where the sexual revolution went wrong as well, is they thought that the awareness about it was going to actually change things. And it made things worse because women were going out and just handing it out for free.
So you're saying that there should be some sort of like, it shouldn't be for free, that it should be.
I'm coming from a Christian perspective, okay. So I think that you should have sex with your husband, and that's pretty much it. The problem with our society is we're in a society of OnlyFans. Instagram is basically everyone is half naked. Women they basically give it out for free. And when I say for free, I mean they're not married. They have no commitment to these men. And I don't think that's empowering for women, nor is it beneficial to them. I think it makes them more depressed, more suicidal, and less confident.
See, I would disagree, because I feel like if anything, it empowers women more, because like, and I'm just going to bring up like, I guess the topic of like, from a dominatrix perspective. And obviously that is like a very skewed perspective on things, but like, I feel like if anything, for me personally, it's made me more empowered to be able to do something like that and to be able to have that power over man.
Yeah, I think it's a fake empowerment.
Now, why do you feel like it's a fake empowerment?
I don't think that it gives
Well, maybe for her it is because she's the one dominating men. But for the majority of women who are in sex work, they're selling their whatever to men. And that's not empowering whatsoever. That's not valuable at all. That's not expressing like your true intrinsic nature of how deeply valuable you are. You're just giving, what you think you can away because this is the only thing you think you have to offer, which is obviously not true. But for a dominatrix, of course she feels empowered. She's beating the shit out of dudes who pay her money to do so, which is fucking whatever. Like, do whatever you want.
women confidence, it significantly increases their chance for divorce. It significantly increases their chance for infertility. So at the end of the day, there's no benefit towards women if they want to get in a long-term relationship. A lot of these women that are super sexually promiscuous, maybe in their early 20s, and then they get in their 30s and they can't find a man because men don't see them as valuable because they've just been handing it out for free their entire lives. And then also, like I said, it does increase your chance for divorce as well. So you won't have as much of a successful committed relationship if you want that in the future.
I guess. I mean, like, I've been divorced before off of my own choice. And I've been in my last relationship in my marriage. I had started OnlyFans, did OnlyFans. He was completely okay with it. I chose to leave that marriage because it wasn't for me. And now I'm in a new relationship and he's very proud and pushes me to do whatever I want, pushes me to be whoever I want. And I don't think that really affects relationships as long as you.
That's a fucking weak dude. Straight up. That's a weak dude who's proud. Proud? I don't know about that, man. Maybe he tolerates it. You don't actually know how he feels for real. Probably not. But he's proud. Tough.
Have like a clear understanding and like clear boundaries too of what's okay and what's not okay.
I think it does. And I don't say this disrespectfully, but that is a very weak man. And I think that any like masculine true man would agree with me. Men who are masculine, like they want one woman and they don't want that woman to be sexually promiscuous and they don't want other men to see their woman all over the internet and be masturbating to their woman. So I would say that that is a weak man and most men do not want that and that relationship is not going to be successful long term. And I don't say that disrespectfully, but just from a statistic perspective, that's what I would say.
Okay. I mean, I obviously disagree with you on like that being him being a weak man because he's okay with this and because he allows this and supports me doing whatever I want. I think too, it's obviously different because from like a relationship standpoint, we have a lot of like talk and openness about things. And like, obviously too, because I do what I do, I have to be okay with things on his end of like, not being as like judgmental for things or being okay with certain things.
So do you have an open relationship, if you don't mind me asking?
I wouldn't say it's open, but like we have explored other things that like he's been more into that
It's fucking open. It's wide open.
I wasn't originally okay with or had tried before or had even like considered. And after trying them, I realized like, okay, yeah, there are things that like I'm into that I wasn't aware of. So it's not like fully open, but we have explored.
And you find that empowering?
I do personally, because my own opinion, I get turned on seeing my man with another woman. And that's just, I never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that before exploring that. And I think it was the chance to explore it and like the openness with promiscuity too.
So here's what actually happened. She got with this dude. This dude knew she was doing all this sex work and OnlyFans, and he knew he could finagle his way into, oh, well, I'm going to get with her. I'm going to be in a relationship with her, but I'm also going to bang a bunch of other chicks. Because he didn't allow her to start an OnlyFans or do sex work when previously she wasn't doing it. She was already doing it. Then he got with her and like in the back of his mind was probably like, ooh, I can make all this work. I'm going to have sex with all these other chicks. My girl will watch. Maybe she'll do whatever she does, but she was already doing that before. So it doesn't matter. And she's not really my chick because I'm doing all this other stuff with all these other girls and kind of get the best of all the worlds. So maybe that's his thought process behind there. Don't know him, obviously. Don't know actually what he thinks, but he's obviously getting to have sex with a bunch of different chicks because he wants to. And quote unquote, his girl thinks it's hot, which whatever, people can be into whatever they want. But that's maybe the sort of the motivation for him because she was already doing the sex work before he got with her.
For it, that I was like, wow, I actually am sexually aroused by something like this.
Yeah, again, I think that's a fake form of empowerment. And my whole claim is that society is grooming really young women to go into OnlyFans and to be sexually promiscuous and to sleep with whoever, to basically be like men and just sleep around and have no emotion to that. We're completely differently wired than men. There's a different chemical reaction that releases when you have sex with a man. So men can just like sleep around and have sex like rabbits. Women are a little bit different. They're more emotionally connected. So I think it's actually damaging women internally more than they think. But they're kind of able to just switch their emotions off and go through it. And then later in life, they end up regretting it.
True, and I can agree with you on that aspect that I do think it is very damaging for girls who are just turning 18 to get into these like OnlyFans spaces without really considering everything that goes into it. And considering like the negatives and the positives that do come with it and without exploring other avenues. When I turned 18, I started doing like nude modeling online. And so that's also from a perspective of like, I've been there and I do wish I would have.
Yeah, it should not be allowed. It should absolutely 100% not be allowed for any of that to be possible. There's too much sex trafficking and child pornography and horrible people doing horrible shit to young people that we shouldn't be encouraging young people, 18-year-olds, to get on OnlyFans right away when so many of young people that like in the world being sex trafficked or don't have a fucking choice. And it's absolute torture and hell that they're in and they're slaves. And then we have a society where it's celebrated and encouraged to do OnlyFans at 18. That's fucking gross. That's gross.